Hi, this is Abul Hussain coming to you direct from London, the United Kingdom, and welcome to another episode of the SMMA Mastermind podcast, where we talk about how you can start or scale your digital marketing agency. And we also bring on subject matter experts to share their stories and journeys to help upskill us so that we can deliver better results for our clients and to also grow our businesses. Now, if you are watching this episode outside of our Facebook group, make sure to find the link above or below this video, or go to smmamastermind.com, especially if you want to network with a like-minded community of 2,500 people. Now, with that out of the way, I have a very special guest, or two guests, as you can see, joining me all the way from Florida, and they are the founders of 𝗙𝗏𝗏𝗂𝗏. We are going to talk about their entrepreneurial journey of how they went from Venezuela over to Florida and everything that they have been really up to, not least their podcast, Content is Profit. Luis and Fonzie, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Abul. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having us and that incredible introduction, man. I appreciate it.
Well, I'm sure I could do a better job once we find out a bit more about what you guys have been doing, because you've got a great podcast and, I've seen a couple of your episodes, but, for those of our audience who might not know who you are, how about a little bit of an introduction?
Absolutely. Yeah. You want to go ahead?
You throw me under the bus? That's fine.
I usually point at him. So yeah, if he makes any mistakes, it's on him.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, my name is Luis, the sexy voice over there. That's Fonzie. We're actual brothers from Venezuela. We own a company called 𝗙𝗏𝗏𝗂𝗏. We're podcast hosts of Content is Profit. We have a content multi-purposing service on the back end that we help people scale their content and how to turn it into profit. So that side of business has been great. We've been together, working together for about 6 to 5 years. Our entrepreneurial journey started, honestly, way back when we started selling actually soccer t-shirts to our friends in school. And then right here in the States, we decided to actually start with selling vinyl stickers, and it evolved into screen printing t-shirts. And then we actually started on the online world with a social media marketing agency. And then it evolved into what we do now. So that is a very fast and furious version.
That's definitely the cliff notes.
Those are the cliff notes. Yes.
Right. That's awesome. And who is older out of you two, actually? Because clearly you're not twins.
No, definitely not. I don't know. I like to say Fonzie is the old soul, but yeah, I'm a little older than Fonzie over here.
He's older. I think I am definitely the older soul. But most people think I'm the older one because of the beard.
Right. Okay. No, that makes sense. I mean, my younger brother is only a year younger, and I think I totally understand me being older and him having an older soul. Yeah, that totally makes sense. Right. So obviously, you guys, you're in the Venezuela. Well, you're in Venezuela. Caracas is still on my bucket list. Still a country that I want to go to, and you've decided to leave the country for whatever reason, and you're moving over to the US. You've left sunny, or shall I say rainy, London, and maybe US is a lot closer. What made you actually, well, maybe apart from the economic reasons, I suppose, what makes you want to go to the US?
Yeah, that's a great question, right? And like my brother mentioned, our entrepreneur journey started when we were selling t-shirts back in school. But for us, it wasn't really with the perspective of, hey, we're being entrepreneurs, right? At that moment, all we wanted to do was play soccer. We just wanted to be professional soccer players, and we were looking for opportunities to play abroad, right? My brother has his story. It's a little bit different in certain aspects. So I'm going to tell this part of the story from my point of view.
Sure.
But when I was done with high school, right, I was still in Caracas, Venezuela. And I was like, okay, I need to find an opportunity, because here in Venezuela, there's not that many opportunities to either play at a competitive level that I wanted to play, right? My dream was to play somewhere in Europe, like probably any soccer kid that wants to play professionally. And for me, the medium, right, was the universities here in the US. I was like, well, I think that is the most viable option at the moment, right? Because first, I can get an education while I still playing in one of the most competitive places here in the States, which is college soccer. So at that point, yes, the economy was in decline. It is nothing to compare to what it is right now. Right now is obviously way, way worse, but there was already that lack of opportunity. So what I did, and my brother did this as well, we went into the NCAA page, which is where they have all the teams, and we went into every single college website, look for the coach's email address, and we send them an individual email to each one of them, sending them a video of us playing soccer, trying to get recruited, right? And
That's awesome.
out of yeah, I think I sent like over 200 emails, and I only got 2 responses from 2 different schools. One we couldn't afford. The other one, they gave us a pretty good scholarship. So I was like, you know what, I'm gone. And that's the beginning of the journey, right? But my first 3-4 years here in the state, it was all around soccer. It was actually not about building a business, being an entrepreneur. My only thought was, I just want to play, I just want to practice, I just want to be the best I can. And then when that opportunity, when that dream crashed, that's when I had a little bit of an identity crisis, right? It's like, okay, what do I do next?
Right.
Like, I've been preparing my whole life for this. I consider myself like I paid attention in some of my education side of things. So it wasn't like I didn't know exactly about nothing, but that's when the entrepreneurial journey started. That's when I realized, oh, maybe I don't want to go work at an office for somebody else. Maybe I just want to do things on my own terms, right? What can we start doing? And that, you know, we enter into research mode, Google, YouTube University, all this other
How
stuff.
to make money online is one place where a lot of people start.
Yeah, that's where we started, right? And we came across actually a ad, 𝗙𝗏 Lopez, right, with the social media marketing agency.
Right, okay.
And that's how we joined that online world, right? And throughout that moment, we had a roommate that he was a little bit entrepreneurial spirit as well. And he came and he's like, guys, let's make a t-shirt. Let's make stickers. And we're like, sure, we don't know how to sell. We don't know how to market. We don't know how to design. We don't know how to do anything, but let's totally do it, right? And I think that mindset came from playing soccer, which is we're going to fail at whatever that is we do, but we're just looking to get better at it and just keep taking action.
So you're going to be on the losing team anyway, right? But let's just play because it's fun to play. Right.
We're like, yeah, we're going to, there's only a path up from here, right? We don't know how to do anything. So we can only get better. That's it.
Wow. Okay. That's awesome. And how long after you came over to the US did Lewis join you?
So I actually came first a year earlier.
Right. Okay.
So I actually had the opportunity to play in Europe. So I lived a year in Italy. I played in Italy. I played in Spain. Came back to Venezuela. And at that point, I was like, I'm done. I'm done with soccer. You know, I was actually able to play for a couple of weeks with Villarreal in first division in Spain, which was a great experience. And they made an offer, but I was overtrained by I didn't feel like that was the path I wanted to go into at that point, right? I was frustrated with a lot of things, and I came back home and had a really like nasty conversation with my dad, with my parents, because like that was the focus, like for the like as long as I could remember, right? So that's where my transition point started. I was like about to start college age, and I took a job with Red Bull, and so I was working with Red Bull on their marketing side of things, and then going through college, right? So that was a period of a couple of years where I was like, perfect, you know, I'm here, I'm in Venezuela, I'm gonna go and do the best I can. I'm with a great company, and I'm having fun, I'm learning a ton. So what's next? And then you mentioned the political situation started, like that was a really pivotal stage where they were chasing after private schools. I was robbed by the military. I was kidnapped.
Oh wow! Okay, that bad.
Yes, it is very bad. So I'm sure that you speak with any Venezuelan out there, everybody has probably a story of something like that happening to them or to somebody that they're very close to, right? So, and that triggered to a lot of people trying to migrate and look for opportunities, because in my eyes, I was like, I don't want to be in this environment to start a business, because at that point I already had that little bug of like, what's next? I don't really want to be here to do that. I don't really want to be here to raise a family, because it was so frustrating. Right now, obviously, we adore our country, we adore the people in there, our family is still there, right? So at some point, we would like to go back and provide and help as much as possible to rebuild the country. But at the time, I was like, I'm out, right? So same as Fonzie, same thing. Called, email every single coach, D1, D2, D3 here in the United States. Got about 2 responses. I ended up here in Florida, right? Like that was that was. It sounds like very simple, but it was like a lot of hard work. Over like
I'm sure it must have been a lot of hard work, you know.
Yeah,
we didn't know it at the moment, but we were just doing cold calling. We were getting our we were getting our training into cold selling for sure.
Yeah, and then that the thought process was, hey, I've been playing soccer at a very high level for a long time. Since I'm not chasing anymore the professional route in Europe, let's use it for something else. Let's get an education. Let's get a scholarship from it. And that's exactly what happened. So I was very blessed and very lucky that the university I went to responded and paid for my entire education. And that gave me 4 years of thinking, okay, through college, what's next? I never thought of myself working for somebody else. There's always a side project going on. There's always different jobs going on to learn different skills. And that's when, as soon as I graduated, we're like, I'm not even looking for a different job. I'm going the entrepreneurial route. What can we do? What can we learn from? What can we accelerate our learning process? And that's where everything started with the story that Fonzie said.
Right. That's absolutely awesome. I mean, I'm surprised you didn't create a course of yourself, how to get a sponsorship in the US.
Yeah. Yes. The thought came, and there were some ideas. Like there was a company that we through a weekend accelerator called Spotty. And it was about that. It was about how to advertise yourself as a player and go there. And then, that didn't go anywhere. That was a great learning lesson and validated the idea at some degree, but the experience or the execution wasn't there. So another one of those incredible lessons through the journey.
Now, you've mentioned, obviously, the vinyl sticker business. Now, we need to know what happened there. So you guys started printing vinyl stickers without any sort of a business plan. So how did that actually work out?
That didn't work out. It was a massive failure. And
it was a massive lesson. Let's
exactly.
reframe it.
Well, absolutely. The feedback is important here.
Exactly. We see failures now as tests, right? Like we are just like learning and getting data, right? But actually we started with the stickers, and about 2 weeks in, well, not 2 weeks in, about a couple months in, after we were, like trying to get some stuff done, we were more honestly in the phase of learning how to do things. And we didn't know how to do any client acquisition. So we weren't trying to like get accounts. We were trying to sell online. It's like, we'll open a Shopify store and people will come and they buy them, right? And we didn't know that that's not exactly how it works. And what attracted us was that stickers actually have huge margins, right? Like you can create a sticker for like 2 cents,
right?
And you can sell them for like $10. And it's like, wow, like those are some good margins. But guess what? When there's 3 of you and like 3 mouths to feed, you need to sell a lot of stickers, right? To make that work. And we didn't have that volume. So we went to a conference to kind of like learn a little bit more about all this stuff. But our roommate, I think he had a secret plan. He knew there was like, there was a convention about screen printing, and he wanted to go look at the machines. So we went to whatever. He convinced us to go, and we enjoyed the convention. It was awesome. We learned a lot. But then 2 weeks later, he comes back and he's like, guys, I bought a screen printing machine. And we're like, what? Yay. That's awesome. And turns out we switched from stickers to screen printing, and we did sell a little bit more, but you still need to sell a lot. And it's a lot of hard work because we were doing everything in the process, right? We were creating the screens, doing the designs, doing the screens, printing the shirts ourselves. And we were in a house, in a garage right? Not a garage like Ty Lopez, let me tell you.
No, the
It was
Lamborghini there or any books.
yeah, no books, no Lamborghinis in there. It was a 90 Fahrenheit. For those that listen in Celsius, it was probably like 30, 35, I guess, like
That's
33,
hot.
something like
That's
that.
nice.
Yeah, that's nice and hot in there.
80%
And
humidity.
80% humidity.
Very
We
hot.
also had an oven right next to us because you need to dry the shirts. So the oven was like throwing more heat at you. It was horrible. We absolutely hated that process. And it got to the point that we were like, hey, we cannot keep doing this. Like, we have other priorities. We're not growing. We want out. Like, we want to do something else, right? And it was rough. It cost a little bit on the relationship there. But it was it was another lesson. The lesson is, don't do something that you don't enjoy. Right?
No, and I love it. No, absolutely, I absolutely love it. You know, you've got this idea and you want to go and validate it, so you actually do the work. And I think, you know, the internet, the world is full of too many entrepreneurs who want to start a business easily with low cost and everything, but they don't want to go and do it. They want to calculate in their head if this is going to work and map it all out, and then, you know, do nothing really, because they really get stuck in that paralysis by analysis, thinking of the plans. They're planning, and they never execute, you know. So I love it that you just thought, you know what, let's go, let's do this. And you've learned your lessons along the way,
Yeah,
which is super.
definitely. You know, I think strategic thinking, it's important, but when you're starting at that point, I mean, action is always the most important part of anything. But especially when you're starting, is that just take action consistently. And we were actually on a recording our podcast before jumping here with you, Abul, and the conversation that we had, this quote kind of like came up, and it's like, the ultimate advantage is consistent action. That is the ultimate advantage of it. It's not just sitting down and planning and having the strategy. I think that works at certain point when you already have certain pieces in place that you can only develop with action.
And that's the best piece of advice that you can actually give anybody, is that you just need to do it. And that's when you can recalibrate after you shoot once, you know, but you can't just guess that you're going to, you know, your guesses and your calculations is not going to hit bullseye for you. Now, obviously, let's talk about content is profit. How did that come about? How long have you guys been going? And, you know, what's happening on that scene?
Yeah, absolutely. So the show has been, I mean, today we recorded episode 160. So it's been a fun journey on exploring really that question, how to turn that content into profit. And it came to be because when we started with the social media marketing agency, right, a few years back, we had several services, and I come from the fitness industry. I took a job at the end, like in that journey of the shirts and that all that stuff, because I was not making enough money, right? I had to go take a job, right? My wife was like, go get a job or I'm done, right? So I'm like, sounds good. I ended up in the fitness industry, like a job that I really enjoyed. I managed a team of about 14 people. And I built some good relationship with local business owners. So as we were transitioning, that was the immediate conversation that we're having. And we're like, hey, we can help you. We actually started advertising ourselves as the anti-marketing agency, right? Because we're coming to them, we're asking them, what's your problem, right? I mean, like, sounds good. We can do something different, right? And it attracted, the message really attracted a lot of conversations. But at the end of execution, we ended up with different processes, different products that we could not scale. We were getting results here and there, but it was really challenging to scale, and we weren't getting the right customer. There was a lot of convincing on that side of things, right? And one of the things that people kept asking was, hey, we want more content, right? So we invested in equipment, we invested in cameras, lights. Fonzie got like super good at editing and doing these things. And it was like, he started to enjoy that process at the very beginning, but then through execution, what you mentioned earlier, right? We started like, oh man, like this is challenging to, like, if we want to do a scale, we either need to raise our prices. Like what is this game? How do we play this game? And me, like I was having the question, I was like, you want all this content, but how do you actually connect it to your revenue side of things in the business, right? How do we actually make that transition? So we started dabbling a little bit into sales funnels and helping these small businesses with their content, and then transitioning into that, but still a lot of education, a lot of friction in the process, right? And we were sitting down in a conversation with about a few business owners, and we're sharing the results on a system that we started to build called the M2M system, right? And we're like, hey, how do we actually leverage our time creating content and multiplying this message across all platforms, creating omnipresence? It can be done. There's a system, right? So we're like, perfect. These are some of the clients that we are helping. These are the results that they're getting. They're really happy and so on. And one of the guys stand up and he's like, okay, that sounds incredible, but where's your stuff? And at the time, our stuff was completely deleted because we went from the screen printing to the stickers. We have an ebook adventure at some point too. So Fonzie deleted everything because it's fresh start, right? Yeah. And right now I encourage everybody, do not delete. That's part of your story. That's part of the things that you gotta tell and be there for others to look at, right? And be inspired by. But at the time there was nothing. And today I would have answered maybe different, right? But at the time it felt like a gut punch. And I was like, man, like we need to do something about this. We need to start publishing and we need to start getting our message out there as well. And because we're busy in the business, at least that was the story that we're telling ourselves, we're like, we cannot publish because we're busy executing on the business. So we decided to try something, and we did an internal challenge just for us, for just my brother and I. And it was going live for 45 days. We were just coming out of the 75 hard challenge of 𝗙𝗵𝗱𝗂𝗂. We crushed it. It was incredible on the mental capacity that we executed on. And we're like, let's replicate that on publishing. What does that look like? And we decided to do 45 days of Facebook Lives. So we started doing this thing, and something wonderful happened about day 15. After probably one of the least professional, and I'm doing air quotes here, videos, because I was sitting down after feeding the baby at almost midnight. I'm like, crap, I gotta do the video, right? So I did it, and I got a DM, I got a message, and that message turned into a conversation that ended up in almost six-figure contract with this incredible real estate company here in town, with the process, the M2M process that we have, because that's exactly what they needed. So we're like, oh, man, consistency, what Fonzie was saying, right, is the ultimate advantage. It worked. The guy never commented, never liked, never nothing. He was there watching every single video. And he's like, I need what you guys do. And I'm like, light bulb moment, right? So then we ended up in this conference. We're executing with these people, right? And we're sharing this story, and people are like, are you guys doing that again? And we're like, man, we should do that again because it worked, right? Why do we stop doing things that work? So, okay, sounds good. Let's replicate it. Same thing around day 17, same thing happened. Another client came in, right? And we're like, oh my gosh, this thing works, right? So around that time, that's when COVID happened. And we lost about 80% of our business at the time because there were brick and mortar stores that there were, people that had to close their doors, right? And we're like, man, this it was a tough moment. We're like, what now? Like, what are we going to be doing the next 2 months? So we had a couple of months. Fonzie was like, hey, let's change perspective. We've been always talking about launching the show. We actually recorded about 5 episodes before that. And it was just sitting, collecting dust, still is sitting, collecting dust, because that was the perfectionist of us. And okay, how can we actually execute consistently, right? Because consistently is the ultimate advantage, right? And we decided to replicate the model of the minimum viable content, which for us was going live. So that's why we do the show live. We actually do it live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And we haven't stopped since we launched the show. And this is the incredible thing that happened. We started connecting with incredible entrepreneurs. We started developing relationships. We started adding value to their life. They started adding value to us and our audience. Yep. And the business, incredible. Like in about the first 3 weeks, completely recover the sales that we lost. In about 3 months, we tripled sales. We were able to hire team members. We niched down in the thing that we do. And it's been a wonderful journey ever since. We launched the challenge about almost 2 months ago now. We had about 100 people doing 45 live. So there's been a lot of that and on the principles, right? And the foundations of transitioning from a consumer to a creator to a strategic creator. So it's been a fun journey since Content is Profit was born. So
no, that's absolutely awesome. And this is very fresh as well. So, you're not sharing theory that has been done to death 100 times before. You are living, eating and breathing what you're preaching. And I absolutely love it, Now, is this like a program or something, the 45-day challenge, or how does someone get involved with something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. We have different levels, right? The 45 Live was a challenge that we launched for the first time to the public about a couple months ago. But right now, if you guys are interested in knowing a little bit more, we do have a Facebook group called Content is Profit. So we do weekly trainings in there. There's different interactions in there. We hosted the challenge in there. There are plans to relaunch it at some point. Right now, we actually have a workshop coming up on May 1st, and it's coming out from that transition from creator to strategic creator, how we actually multiply. We're actually going to pull the curtains on our process, which, by the way, right now from the show, we publish about 400 pieces of content every single month, almost on automatic. We are high volume fans. It does work. Everything grows, the connection grows, the relationship grows. So we're going to pull the curtains and teach those principles and foundations. So that's a place. We have a service called Content Momentum as well, which is for people that are actually looking for that modern media team. So we have a plugin team that comes in and executes on that content vision for the entrepreneur. So those are different ways that people can get involved with. I think the easier one is the show, Content is Profit, or the Facebook group. Go connect with us over there.
And I mean, we encourage everybody to join the workshop on May 1st. It's going to be extremely exciting. We only have about 10 spots left. Actually, we're giving a lot of personal attention after post workshop, just because we want to make sure that people are actually taking action and implementing. We don't want people just to sit down, take notes, and then the notes gather dust. That's not how things are going to work. So yeah, I do want to encourage people to reach out and ask about that workshop. We'd love to have a conversation with you.
No, that's absolutely awesome, because my final question for you guys is, because we're at the end of our very quick show here, was how to reach out and find you. But the Facebook group is called Content is Profit. And do they find you on Facebook or LinkedIn, or are you in the group? How's the best place to connect with you both?
Yeah, so you can reach out you can go to the group, Content is Profit. We'll accept you, and then we'll probably send you messages and get in contact. Or you can send us a DM. You can just, send us a DM at @BizBrosCo. So it is BizBrosCo. And you can just send us a DM that says Abul, and we know Abul send you. And yeah,
I get no commission, by the way. I love what you guys are doing. So this is brilliant, and more power to your elbow for what you guys are doing. Just showing people how to do something rather than just putting it into a course and saying go off and do it, and I'll buy a Lamborghini with your money.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate you. And then if you guys want to connect personally with us, you can just search for 𝗙𝗶𝗴𝗂𝗍 on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn is where we're the most active at. And you can connect there. I mean, you look for 𝗙𝗶𝗴𝗂𝗍, the two of us are going to pop up probably.
Yes. It's going to be on our faces with an orange background. Easy to recognize. We're there.
Well, it's definitely two for the price of one. I assure you that. On that note, gentlemen, Luis and Fonzie, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you,
Absolutely, Abul. Thank you for having us.